All right, so this is DJ81. Actually doing a test broadcast. So definitely want to see how this works for a potential show of my own. And I just want to see who's going to jump in here. I'm sitting here watching Monday Night Raw tonight. Right now it's Chris Jericho versus Samoa Joe. It's an interesting matchup. I don't think I've ever seen them two fight before. But some interesting things while watching this Raw. As a matter of fact, let's use this test to talk about Raw and what has happened so far. Now, obviously, I'm watching live. And it was interesting. I'm going to just go straight to Goldberg's appearance. So Goldberg he's already appeared in the show. He got F5 by Brock Lesnar. I think the interesting thing off of that interaction is I think Goldberg may have been a little hurt, or he's a really good actor at this point in his career, because it looked like he took that F5, when he landed, just did not land the way he wanted to. First of all, man was holding on to the belt as he was getting F5, and just he threw it down to the ground as he was in midair. Thought that was pretty funny when it happened. Now let me see. As I pause for a minute, I'm just gonna see how. Let's see how this works. So you can actually share it. Seeing how you can share things on here. So I figured nobody's here. I think I'm gonna look at it from my Twitter account. See how this is going. Oh, he's gonna get him on the outside of the ring? Oh yeah, it's over. Really? Double count out? That's how we're gonna end this? Well, it is 10:53. So I don't think this is gonna go on. The main event, Strowman and Roman Reigns, is going long. Oh no. Not a double count out. That was interesting. All right, so how do we? Okay, so we can share stuff on here. I mean, look, see how it looks on YouTube. Of course, I can use my phone whenever I want to. Oh, so we got one viewer. All right, one person that is viewing. I am doing a test, and they looks like they dropped out. I'm sitting here doing a test. What? I thought he was knocked out. Oh well. Let's see if mine pops up. Oh, it does. You know what? It seems like what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to change the. I'm gonna change what it looks like. What I'm looking at on my phone is the title "Test Hangout. Don't judge me, just experimenting." But it has my Nike receiver gloves on the. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep that. Because for anyone who has followed my channel and anyone who's talked to me, or at least read tweets, seen videos, and all that type of stuff, I actually I played wide receiver directly, but before that, I played in high school. I played while I was in the United States Air Force, and I played semi-professionally. I actually had a tryout when I was about 11 years ago. When I was 25. I actually had a tryout at a regional NFL combine. Of course, I didn't expect to do well. I did okay. 40 time could have been better. And I think I skipped out on the bench press. No, I did that. I got 1 rep. Not ashamed of it. I was a small receiver. I wasn't really focused on the 225. But we went 1-on-1. I crushed in the 1-on-1s. I had like a goal in mind when I did this. Look at me, I'm reminiscing about a regional tryout. But 1-on-1, I did a what did I do 1-on-1? A regional tryout. Let's see who's in here. Oh, put him in the game. What's up, fool? Where you been? For some reason, it won't show people in the chat. I'm looking off my phone, so I just saw you just now. So I know I'm like 2 minutes late. But just to get back on the story, my goal in those 3 opportunities that I had to do what I need to do as a wide receiver. 1, I just wanted to run my route, simple catch. Did that, first try. Second goal I had in mind was that I was a heads up type of wide receiver. Like I was fully aware of everything that was going on and I knew what to do in certain situations. So the second chance I got, I ran into a situation where the ball was about to be picked off. And what I did was I became the DB on the play and knocked the ball out of his hands, preventing an interception. I've done it before. I did it in high school. I actually got called. Oh, good. I'm glad you can hear me. Like, is it? It seems like it's coming in clear. I can hear a little bit coming from the phone. But all right. So let me continue on the story. So I basically showed that I'm a heads-up receiver. I know. Oh no, that's what I was talking about. In high school, in a semifinal game, I got called for offensive pass interference, but I kept the interception from taking place. So I always wanted to show that I'm a pretty heads-up player when it comes to playing the position. The third goal I had in mind is that I could catch. Yeah, I'm using the Snowball Blue mic, and it's just sitting off to the side. And I have used it on Skype. So a lot of people have been able to hear it very clear. Okay, so the third opportunity I had at this regional combine was the fact that I could catch the ball in any situation. Of course, the third opportunity winds up being that because the guy basically hit me. Mind you, we don't have any pads. The guy basically hit me before the ball even got there. But just like the typical sound receiver that I am, yeah, I can turn that down. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting there watching Raw in the background, so if that was starting to come through a little bit, then I apologize. But all right, so like the typical receiver that I am, extended my arms out, made a hands catch as I was being hit. So what they say, what you do is when you extend your arms out and making a hands catch, as you get hit, it actually, the physics of it actually does what you would normally do if you weren't getting hit. You're bending your elbows and bringing in the ball as you're corralling it and possessing it. So the fact that I had my arms extended as I was getting hit helped me catch the ball. And plus, I was focused on catching the ball. Nothing was going to stop me from catching that ball. Nothing. And I did that. But obviously, with the few scouts that were there, for like everybody that was in those tryouts, there was like a Baltimore Ravens scout that was looking at a guy, may have seen me do stuff, but there was a guy that was really impressive. Very well. Had a ton of speed. They were probably looking at him more than they were looking at like guys like me. So that's So that would be the closest I ever got to the pros, was a regional tryout, and that was done at Towson University. This was like in 2005, and then I went back to playing semi-pro, where unfortunately that came to an end when I was in a car accident. Now, it didn't really end me from playing football, but I knew the contact portion, the real football, had ended for me at that point, because I wasn't willing to take another shot on my knee. And plus, there were a couple of concussions I suffered that season, and that's nothing to mess with. And I was like, look, I'm not going to the next level. At that point, I figured that year was going to be my last year, but I didn't think it would be ended outside the field. So I've been playing recreationally ever since, and here I am. So, like I said, I see that Put Him in the Game is in the chat. He's definitely, I'm going to tell you something about Put Him in the Game. He says whatever the fuck he wants. Says it how the fuck he wants to say it. And to me, it's always been loud and clear what he's saying. So, and he's actually one of my first subscribers to the channel, like way back when I first started. So always, you know, there was I would say about a year or two where we were on opposite sides in the now, I would say the now, you know, kind of quiet sim football community. So we were on opposite sides for a little bit, and we took our shots at each other. But I always thought that we would take our shot. Oh shit, the Undertaker. Oh wow, really? That's the guy that's going after Braun? Ouch. Anyway, as a recapping what I'm hearing. But yeah, I knew afterwards that, you know, people were gonna calm down, people were gonna come to their senses, and when no one was going to really take shots at each other like they did. I think people came to grips that, and as far as that was concerned, people came to grips with the fact that Madden was going to be Madden, and there were other things that were out there that needed to be addressed, not just with Madden, but with 2K. Oh yeah, okay. You know what? Let's talk about let's talk about the Wizards. All right. So let's start from the beginning, because people, I don't know how many people are tuning in. I'll probably have to share this again. The Wizards started out the season very slow. They were probably one of the worst teams out the gate. I would go on the Redskins. I'm thinking Redskins. I would go on the Wizards Twitter, because I'm a fan of DC sports. You can see in the thumbnail, I'm looking at my man Josh Norman's shirt, which is a nice shirt, by the way. And I have a second pair that's just a regular shirt. That's the hooded one, the Warrior. I definitely fell in love with that shirt and definitely used it. But the Wizards, I think they started out 2-8, and everybody's willing to jump off the bandwagon. And I remember saying back then on Twitter that what did you expect from a team that their starters were in tune, but their bench pretty much had been gutted outside of Kelly Oubre Jr. There were folks on Twitter that was talking about, oh, the bench is trash and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there, again, stating the fact that chemistry was lacking from the team. There was chemistry in the starting five, but there was a lack of chemistry in the bench. So with that being said, as the season wore on, that chemistry started to build. And yes, John Wall, Bradley Beal all played their minutes, played heavy minutes just to get the ball rolling. But as soon as they got that ball rolling, they're sitting in third place in the Eastern Conference, and they're on the heels of the Boston Celtics. And there have been signature games in this stretch for the Wizards. Yeah, they definitely are not scared of Cleveland. Like, it took a miracle from LeBron James to hit that bank shot to tie the game. I'm like, the now famous woman with her mouth wide open, that's a meme, man. That's what it took. That shocked everybody. I'm sitting there, I was watching it as it happened, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. There's no way in hell he hit that shot. But he did hit that shot. And but honestly, even after that shot, we should have beat them in overtime, but Kyrie took over. The real killer on the Cavs. Not LeBron. Kyrie's the real killer on that team. But then, okay, back to the Wizards. So All-Star break happens. Now the momentum has been halted a little bit. So the All-Star break happens, and Wizards make a couple of trades. We get Bojan Bogdanovic. Yes, I said his name right. Yes. We get Chris McCullough, and then eventually we get Brandon Jennings. Now, what's funny is that I don't know if I've not been paying attention, but I don't see Trey Burke anywhere. Like, he hasn't been in the rotation ever since I don't know if he's dealing with personal issues or family, death in the family. I don't know what he's dealing with, but I haven't seen him I don't know if he wasn't released last I checked. They released one of the rookies to get Brandon Jennings on the squad, so Trey Burke is still there. But the chemistry is there. And it seems like it's being extended to the bench now. But now they're starting back up, so they gotta build that chemistry back up all over again. I bet you by season's end, because it is March, season ends by April. By season's end, they'll probably will catch and surpass Boston, but I don't think they'll catch and surpass Cleveland. I think it would work out better for them to reach. If they want to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, they have to get that number 2 spot. Because right now, as we said, 1-8, 3-6. 2-7-4-5, I think, is the bracket settings for each side. So I could see the Wizards at number 2, in which they will probably face somebody like Indiana. I'm not looking at the standings in front of me, but somewhere they'll be facing that team. And they should be able to beat the bottom half of the bracket to just below them. I'm like, they beat the Raptors like crazy, in which the Raptors came back and beat them. They can beat Indiana. They can beat Detroit. They can beat Atlanta. Yes, Roman Reigns got choke slam. That's what I'm talking about. My yard, bitch. But yeah, I see the Wizards. The Wizards could make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I still have an issue with their defense. I don't have an issue with their offense at all, which I had a big issue with last season. But this year, I have more of an issue with their defense. Are they really dogs on defense? That's my main question. Are they dogs on defense, and can their bench create enough chemistry where John Wall is not playing heavy minutes every night? Because that was ridiculous. They were up by how much against who were they playing? They were up by like 20-something points, and they didn't take Wall out the game, because it seems like if you take Wall out the game, or you take their starters out the game, their bench can't hold tight. And the one that I see that struggles the most is Kelly Oubre Jr. And like I said, I posted on Twitter, I was like, is this dude struggling, or is he struggling? This guy is struggling mightily. You know what? That's how I can share this thing. So that's what I'm looking at as far as the Wizards are concerned. Yeah, I can do that. Do it this way. If you don't mind, I'm just sharing this tweet. See if anybody else wants to check out the. So this is not too bad. I can actually, and you know what? While I'm doing this, I can actually send out anybody who wants to jump in and put them in the game if you're still watching. I don't know what you can. I don't know if you can send me your DM or whatever. You send me DMs. If you can send me an email address or something like that, I can actually bring you on board. And that's true. For anyone, see, to be honest, though, I don't think they can go an entire series with neither of them, but if they get up. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, because playing in a series is much different than just playing them one time and on a schedule. And to be honest, when we beat Golden State, we beat them without Kevin Durant. So when I tuned into the game, I tuned into that game late, and I was like, "Where's Kevin at?" But I didn't know he had suffered a major injury that's gonna keep him out for the rest of the regular season. So that in mind, the Warriors are a little wounded right now. They're a bit wounded right now, and they came out the All-Star break cold. Now I believe they just beat the Knicks a couple of nights ago. And matter of fact, the interesting thing about that game with the Knicks and Warriors was that they did the first half without any music or entertainment. Like, they strictly kept it to basketball. That was a throwback. I like to see more teams do that, because I feel like with the crowds these days, they're so short on their attention span that you need to keep them entertained, even during timeouts. Like, they can't just enjoy the basketball game. I understand that sporting events is more about the overall experience and not just the game itself. But it was nice to see Madison Square Garden do that in the first half. I thought that was nice. I think more teams need to do it. Even if it's just for a half, then I would say do that. Let me see. What else can we, while we're in this test stream? Okay, now I'm looking at one of our friends just tweeted out triple threat with Taker, Roman, and Strowman. Why? Just saw Strowman walk out the ring like a bitch. But hold up, I don't know what that's gonna do. My boy Bill said, "Ew." Yeah, I had to question that matchup, because I don't see a triple threat between those three. I just don't see it. Hold up, see if they. Let me go back to, because I'm missing out on messages here. See, and I didn't even see the score of that game with the Warriors and the Knicks. So they barely beat the Knicks, and the Knicks just beat the. I don't know if they just hold up. I can look at it real quick. I think the Knicks just beat the bricks off of somebody. NBA.com. I'll tell you right now, NBA.com is the most. Oh no, they didn't beat the bricks off of somebody. They got past Orlando, which gave the Wizards a hard time just last night. Oh, so he did fracture his leg. So how long is Andrew Bogut going to be out? That's wow. That's unfortunate. I probably wish they had Tim Mozgov. But see, I wish the chats could. I don't know why the chats don't show up here. Okay, so good. I can control the volume on here. And put them. I appreciate you being in the chat doing this test session, because I definitely am looking to do something weekly. I don't know if I'll be able to do it right away, because I want to finish off school. I have 2 more classes. I just came off a couple of A's in these 2 8-week classes. But drink a little soda here. But I think we're going to be good after school is done, because definitely. And then also at the same time, because I know I watch other Hangouts streams that appear on YouTube. One in particular that I really like is the Weapon Wheel podcast. They do a good job. They've grown over the past year and some change. Highly entertaining, very knowledgeable group as far as the main panelists are concerned. Heavily involved in gaming. They play their games, and it's definitely a place on Saturday evenings to have fun. Plus, I'm a proud Patreon supporter of that podcast. So I wish them much more success than what they have right now, because we really need a podcast that is grassroots with knowledgeable people. And it seems like with BG, Hard 8 Times, Kid Smooth, trying to remember, Jack Mujani, Black Bond, and can't remember his name, but he actually does a lot of behind the scenes stuff on the website that Weapon Wheel Podcast is doing. So, and then let's see, another podcast. Actually, Kid Smooth has his own podcast. Yeah, I don't know how many he has. It seems like he has 3 of them, or 2, 3. I'm not exactly sure, but he has Apples and Oranges on his Apples and Oranges channel, and then he has another one on his gaming channel. And Apples and Oranges, that one is non-gaming, but interesting topics nonetheless. I wish him much success. And then there's the one that I listen to weekly, that's on Thursdays, and that's the Sim Standard podcast. Now, I've been on it a couple of times, and it looks like I may be on it again to start off as the fourth panelist. And that's going to be exciting. I've never really done something like that. I know a couple weeks prior, I came in where I helped out Smitty, and we did the 2-man team for that show for that week. And then coming back a couple of weeks later just to share my thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn. And what else? Jimmy, yes, that was his name. And he's actually one of the good ones too. Man, don't say that. Come on. But if I'm gonna be on there, they're gonna do a rotation of the 4 panelists. I must start off as the first one. I'm not gonna be on there every week, and actually I'd rather it be that way, because honestly I don't know if I could commit to weekly as a 4th panelist. I'd rather be able to do something on my own, which is why I'm doing this. I don't even know how long this has been going on, but it's been quite a good test. I can probably look at some other things. One thing I do promise that I'm not going to do is get political when I do these Hangouts. I think I will say this on the test broadcast, but I'm not going to say it in any future podcast. My main reasoning for not being political on these podcasts, now I could change my mind. Doesn't mean that I'm not. But one of the main reasons, because it has been poisonous for the last year, more, even longer than that. I'm like, politics in general has been poisonous my whole entire life and even beyond that. I don't think it's bringing people together. Politics has been divisive since day one. People are just not coming. See, what I will tell people is that I am speaking from my point of view, which is an opinion. I am open to debate. And if I'm proven wrong, I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. That is as far as I can go, because let's see, when people speak, I tend to wonder if they're speaking from their point of view only and not looking at other factors, which doesn't make them a liar, it just makes them short-sighted. Now, someone who knows a lot of information but chooses to manipulate the information, basically their intent is going to tell me if a person is going to lie. And I do not intend to be, quote unquote, a liar. If I say something wrong, call me out on it. I will, and put them in the game. You are good at that. So you alone are not going to be responsible for that if I do stuff like this, but I'm open to be called out. Never have been. So, but as far as politics and religion, I'm leaving that off, because one, well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. As far as religion, I'm not deeply religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not deeply religious. I know a lot of the cats that I've met on social media are very religious, have been deep in the faith for quite some time. That's not my realm. I will say this, though. I choose to consider all sides as one huge overall story. Like, each religion has their place in this thing called life. And that's the way I look at it. You know, Christianity, one point of view. Judaism, another point of view. Islam, another point of view. Buddhism, another point of view. Just many points of view on how life should be. I just believe they're all telling the same thing. They're all looking at the core, just telling it in a different way, with different set of rules and different set of understandings. Some people take those understandings to the extreme, and some people take them loosely. I consider it all. So I think that's as far as I go for religion. I'm spiritual. It's just the way it is. Go by my instincts. All right. So this test has been good. I like how this is working. It looks like if I wanted to invite, hold on. Oh, okay. That's how you make the chat disappear. The thing is, it's not showing me anything. I don't know why it's not. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. I don't know why it's not showing me the chat, especially when you're in there. But I don't know why it's not doing that. Choose links. Whatever. I wonder if I do something. I'm gonna test something out. I'm gonna send something in the chat. So, you know what? I haven't had the thing on play for quite some time. Huh. Why is it saying the YouTube app will no longer work after April? Hold on. So if I hit the YouTube app, Welcome to YouTube and Hangouts. Okay, that's weird. Don't like that. Yeah, let's click off of that. Got the control room here. Okay. Chat. I'm gonna be looking out for you. I'll be trying to catch on your stream and shit, but I'll be busy. All right, well that's cool. Yeah. I'll let folks know if I'm doing it regularly. I think it would be good. I definitely want to do something of this nature and open it up to folks that otherwise probably wouldn't want to do any other streams. Oh, so let's see, screen share. No, I don't want to share my entire screen. Application window. Okay. Now I'm testing this. Now I'm testing. Oh yeah. I'm sorry you had that opinion of that, but like I said, I'll be available to do something. It's probably the least I can do. But I just need to find something I can weekly talk about. Like, definitely sports is a conversation. I'll probably do movies as well because I've been going to the movies of late. I definitely just seen the movie Get Out. That is a perfect movie to go see. Definitely enjoyed it. It was as perfect as they've been saying, and it's just so many things that people will miss if they just watch it at one time, and they will miss it. And most people will miss certain things because they're not black. They would definitely miss a whole bunch of things if they don't understand the experience that African Americans go through in this country with racism. I think racism definitely has gone from overt to covert, but it's the lingo of racism that has also changed. They're not calling us the N-words anymore. They're not calling us Porsche monkeys or anything of that nature. They are, oh yeah, Jordan Peele. That's the guy who directed it. So a shout out to you. I don't think you'll be listening to this test hangout, but yeah, he did a good job. Did a great job. But it's a lot of other things in that movie that if you're not black, more than likely you're not gonna figure it out. If anything, if you're not black and you're in this watching this movie thinking it's just another thriller, you may walk out the theater. I had people there when I went. I had a couple of white people walk out the theater. Couldn't believe what they were experiencing, and I was sitting there looking at everything. I was like, "Yep, I've had that happen. Yes, people have talked to me in certain ways because I was black. Yeah, all that, everything. I was like, everything happened in that movie has happened to me. Well, not everything. So definitely recommend go see that movie. That movie is great. Now, the movie I'm avoiding is Logan. I'm not gonna see Logan because with Marvel, I kind of was put off by how they just threw me off as far as the storyline of the X-Men and yeah, that story just seems like it's not complete to me. But I haven't seen Logan, and I don't know what the hell really happened there. Well, I already know, and I'm not gonna spoil it. So let's leave it at that. Oh yeah, there was some deep shit in that movie that he did hit. Like I said, a lot of white folks are not gonna get it. A lot of white folks are not gonna get it. There's some black folks that are not gonna get it too, because not every black folk has been in that situation. I'm like, growing up here in Columbia, Maryland, a lot of that stuff I didn't really experience. But to tell you the truth, a lot of that stuff I'm more likely to experience up here because the community was formed by Jim Rouse was that we were all going to live together, whether we were black, white, whatever, and it didn't matter how much money you made, all economic levels were going to live together. So people couldn't just outright call people the N-word or use terms like really outdated terms, like I mentioned earlier, porch monkey. Like, and that actually leads me to what is it? That actually leads me to that to stuff that was said by the Madden tournament winner. To use an outdated term though, oh, I'm like, you. Some people just it's really just not. It's not okay. I don't care what environment you grew up in as a non-black. You are communicating on social media. No one will really understand who's comfortable with you saying what. There's rules set around your friends, family, whatever, and then there are just common sense rules for general public use. And you have made yourself public through social media and through this tournament. Now, even though these terms were used in the past and maybe just in recent memory, but you got to understand, you are a public figure now because you won the Madden tournament this past year. You are a public figure because you're associated with a major company because you played one of their products that's being featured publicly. Your name is being used to represent this game and also represent this company. So what did you expect people would do? You win the tournament, but somebody just happens to dig up old information? Welcome to being a public figure. So maybe that guy will learn his lesson. Maybe he won't. I know he was a braggart afterwards, which made things worse. Braggart afterwards kind of, I don't know if it led to people digging that stuff up, but that's why you gotta watch what you say, especially on social media. It's not like you're in the privacy of your own home. Well, technically you are, but you're speaking on a public forum. That's something that you don't ever want to do, or lessen it, or keep it off of social media. If you're gonna say that shit, say it amongst your friends in the real. Don't get on social media because no one's gonna understand, and it's gonna be a witch hunt. That's the way it is. If you don't know how to live with it, then don't be a public figure. Quit. Give back all the money that you won and just back off. Because honestly, that was a slap on the wrist. If you want to be real about the situation, and since I'm not a game changer, I can say this shit. That was a slap on the wrist, EA. That was a slap on the wrist. You know it. And that $3,000 just for, yeah. That was a slap on the wrist. Dude won what? $75,000. Only had to get back $3,000. Now he's not gonna have the whole $75,000 anyway because he got to pay taxes. So he'll probably wind up with like what? $50,000 when it's all said and done. If he reports it, and he better report it because everyone knows he won $75,000. He won quite a few bags. You gotta give some of them bags back, but he only gave one bag back for making racist statements. That was a slap on the wrist. Yeah, exactly. Let me actually catch up with Put 'em. see what he's been saying. I know he said Wolverine and the Hawk are my favorites, so I'm gonna fuck with Logan. And then I always say that if you ain't prepared for the backlash, then shut your ass up. Exactly. I think I said it in one of my old videos when I was clowning LeBron James when he was with Miami, that first series where he choked. It's like, if you can't take the heat, get your ass out that kitchen. If you can't cook, don't try it. You wind up getting people sick and dying. Honestly, I always never wanted to be a part of something, because sometimes when you're a part of something, you are restricted in some ways. That's why I never really tried to, like, when the Sim standard first formed and I was doing my videos and stuff like that, I never did the competition to be in the Sim standard. That was won by Gedden. Reason I didn't try, because I knew right from the jump that you're part of a channel as a group, you're gonna be restricted a little bit. You pretty much are gonna be stuck within saying and everybody being on the same page. That's why I stayed separate and put them. You were guilty for one of those times, accusing me of being like of saying that I was pretending to be on the Sim standard, when I never really wanted to be a part of the Sim standard. I wanted to be a part of DJ81, my channel. It was my way, my view on my channel. That's it. I will say this though, and I'm gonna reveal something. So since you're here, I'm gonna give you a little insight to something that took place maybe a couple years ago, like towards the end of the year. You remember a little faction that appeared in the Sim football community? NWO. I'm like, you want to know who really started that? It was me and Bills, but mostly me. I went to Bills one day and we talked about it, and it was definitely in response to something Apex has said. Now, this is 2.5 years ago, so really I don't care about it now, because, you know, the whole NWO thing was funny. It definitely hit a nerve, but it changed some things in the community, and I think it changed it for the better. And that was my whole thing from the very beginning with the NWO, was to have fun. That became the group motto. We were having fun. I'm like, we weren't taking pot shots at people. We were entertaining in what we did, and we had fun. It wasn't about the game no more, because the reason why we formed wasn't even about the game itself. Did I see that? I don't know if you saw it or not, but I'm like, but for that time, we definitely had fun in what we did. And I knew it wasn't going to last for long, because it wasn't meant to be a long-lasting thing. It was there. It created a buzz. It may have hit some nerves. Some people took us the wrong way because they didn't understand what the world was going on. Yeah. And it's funny, because just to go back to my individual channel, that's something that I've always stressed from the very beginning. You always said I was on the fence, but the thing was, I always kept it even view of things. Like, I could see everything that you, that side of the fence, was saying, and I shared those same views. On the other hand, I shared views with people on the other side of things. So it was just like, it may have seemed like from people, because I wasn't all this, all that. I've never been all one-sided. I've always been balanced in everything I've done. I believe in balance. And that's the way I've always been. And that's the way I always will be. I've been that way since day one. In the real and also on the social network. Except when it comes to racing Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Eagles too. Shoot, fuck every team in Philly. But it's just the teams. I love the fans of those teams, but it's just those teams can go to hell. So, but okay, so I'm done reminiscing about, past stuff. Like, we're in the here and now. There's no NWO. There's no Simheads United. Simstand is they do Hangouts now. Apex is doing 2K basketball, which is a good thing, because there are a lot of views that I'm sharing. I'm starting to share with them now. Not share, like literally share with them, but well, I'm sorry. That's your view. The way I am is that I could, like, okay, here's one view, and you definitely won't like this view. I actually did a paper recently, and it referenced the transatlantic slave trade. I had to look at the transatlantic slave trade in a view of the oppressors. Well, not that I had to, I chose to. Because some people, especially us in the Black community, we don't want to look at it from the oppressor's point of view to actually write a factual paper. And also be able to unlock how much we could express how bad slavery was to a group of people. Because when you're able to explore something like the slave trade, and say things like they looked at us as property. They didn't want to damage their property, so they locked us in a cargo hold. That's where you place all your property at. So let's see, they rounded us up like cattle. The ways they were able to round us up is they used us to round us up. It's just like people on farms. They round up cattle by using dogs. It's a fellow animal, but it's also rounding the cattle up. And I think people, especially us, we're afraid to look at it from that point of view to really understand the full spectrum of things. We want to stay in our narrow-minded view, and it's not saying that, that's not justifying slavery by any means. It's just looking beyond not that any of us today have any personal experience with it, but it's looking beyond our ancestors' experience of it and understanding the full spectrum. And then from there, be able to break down that line of thought. Because eventually they had to look at us as people. And this is where we're at right now. I'm like, as soon as they got out of their thought process that we were property and then we were people, they shouldn't have had that view in the first place. But they did have that view nonetheless. Yeah, I know. I understand. You want to leave that conversation out because it is a scary topic to talk about, because you don't want to. You don't want to hurt feelings. Which I figured after what Ben Carson did today, oh God. I'm like, it's one thing to look at things from the oppressor's view to be able to figure the whole spectrum out, but it's another thing to misunderstand why the fuck we were in chains in the first place. This dude, it's sad because I met a couple of his family members, and his family members don't seem like that. But this dude literally said that there were immigrants in the bottom of the ships that came here. He literally sat there. He literally sat there and said, we, talking about our ancestors, we were literally dreaming for our children, great-grandchildren, whatever, that we would eventually accomplish a dream of being successful in the United States. Like, we literally, like, his view was we started from the bottom, now we're here. No. That was outrageous what he said. Now, it's kind of hard for me to say this, but I want to hear the whole speech. I want to understand what got him to say that part. But just looking at that part by itself is bad. And it's bad for the main reason is that we were forced into this country. We didn't choose. We weren't migrants. And we weren't refugees either, because it wasn't like we had it bad in Africa. We were living quite good. We were kings and queens in Africa. We had our own tribal wars. We had our own political stuff going on. We created everything in this life. Literally created everything, or we were the source for everything that has been created. We were stolen. And I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, because most people don't like they'll look at slavery like I think most people, the majority here in the United States, don't understand what it means to be. Most people, the majority of the population don't understand the, looked at as property. I know most females can understand that, because the only group in this country that has not been enslaved or been persecuted, discriminated against, has been white males. Yes, I will say that, because that is the truth. But and that's the group that's largely the group that got Trump in office. I'm gonna drink my Coke on that. I see that there's 2 viewers on here, but put them in the game. You're the only one putting in work. Maybe we need to share this again. Maybe that's what's going on. Why is it saying I didn't want to monetize this? What the hell? It's like even when you choose not to monetize something, it monetizes it for you. I think that's what happens when you're part of full screen. It's like forced to get paid. Yeah, that idea of being forced doesn't work with me. I don't like to be forced to do anything. So, okay. We're reaching 12 o'clock. When did I start this? I started this just before 11, so we've actually been on for an hour doing this test. Like I said, I think I'm gonna go with this format, because I haven't really been upload. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I need to I have one. Yeah, well, it does it because I'm part of full screen, so it monetizes everything. I didn't choose to monetize this exact live stream, but I just checked it out and it's monetized. That's not how I had it set up. So it's gonna monetize it no matter what. So, and And since I'm not one of the larger channels or larger than I am now, it doesn't really, I don't really get anything from it. I just thought it was interesting to see how this works out. I was a part of one network before. I think it's when you're a part of a network, they might, like, since they some form of fashion that they actually do. Oh no, I would actually, I wouldn't say good job, because the way they do partnerships, I'm gonna be real about this. The way they do partnerships now is a lot different than what anyone could be a partner. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, yes, I got partnered. I'm like, I didn't really do anything to earn a partnership. I just, it was available to become a partner. I registered and voila, there it was. Yeah, and let's see, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at shit. YouTube is a full-time job. Yeah, some of these folks have made it pretty much a full-time job. It more than likely won't be that way for me. I don't see myself doing YouTube where I had to depend on people's views to make money. I feel like I'm also a personal trainer, so I'm also planning on making money that way. And then also stuff on top of that. I do believe in multiple streams of income. I do believe in that. And that's one of the things I've been working on along with finishing school. So once I'm finished school, I can really go hard as far as making that happen. Well, you had that option too. Like, everybody, see, that's the point. Everybody has that option to get paid. It's not something that is restricted to certain people. You just have to find the right network that doesn't make you a slave to do it. Because you have some that, like, they hold you to doing certain, like, keeping up a certain ratio, like what do they call it, a quota. I appreciate it. Thanks. Like I said, I'm just being honest about it and being real. Not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I did this. I'm partnered with Full Screen and it's lit. No. Mm-mm. But it's approaching midnight. I probably should shut it down, because if I wanted to do something, instead of 2 hours, I would probably just do it for an hour. I think starting out it's good to do for an hour until there's a need to do it for 2 hours. And even so, I don't know if I could do it for 2 hours. I would probably go back and actually look at this and see how I did in just an hour time, because honestly, if I probably wouldn't have gone this far without you even chatting in the chat. So it's actually kind of good to do this test just to gauge any type of interest. Probably what I'll do is that I'll do a few tests. I'll do a few tests before I really launch into it and see where it goes. I'll probably make more people aware of it. I shared it once on Twitter. I don't know who's paying attention. I don't know who's watching. I look at it like this. I have about 604 followers on Twitter, which I only have like 200. What I have like 200 something subscribers on YouTube. I would think if I shared it on Twitter, I would think at least 5% of those 604 would actually be watching this. But I've had a couple of people, like, you've been steady in here, so I appreciate that. But I've had a couple of people jump in and out. So just trying to figure that all out. I do understand the share page or screen share. I do understand that. So I will be making use of that if I'm trying to, if let's say we get into the fall and we're talking about the NFL season. I don't know what the quality is going to be like, but I know I can sit there and do screen shares. So, and I've done that once before. I actually one time there's this one chick that I was talking to, and we were watching movies through here, through screen share. So it is a useful tool. Yeah, I can tell you're very absent from Twitter. I'm just trying to see how I can get to list all available commands into what the hell. I'm just trying to see why from this one screen I can't see the chats. It's kind of crazy. Of course, because I don't have a camera to it. Let's see, what's this? No camera. That must be the volume control. Okay, there it is. All right. Do they have any? Yeah, this is crazy. I'm gonna share this again. See if anybody else is on. I'll probably at some people, see if they'll jump on. At least jump in the chat. See if they wouldn't mind coming in and just critiquing. I know it's approaching midnight, and I said I was going to shut down, but let's see if some other people can come in here and hang out for a little bit. Let's see who else. No, I think that'll be it. I think we're good there. All right, so let's share this. All right, so I can check to see how it looks on Twitter after sharing it. All right, there we go. Well, hopefully I'll get the attention of a couple of people. So hopefully I get some more company in here. See how this goes. All right, so obviously, speaking wise, an hour is the most I can do because I already can feel myself wearing down after an hour. I don't know how. I really don't know how anyone can really do it for 2 hours. Like somebody could talk literally for 2 hours doing a show by themselves. That is not cool. That's not cool for the listeners. That's not cool for the person talking. And I was never much of a talker in the first place. Oh, okay, yeah. Probably what I'll do, I think what will happen is that I'm gonna have to get into the mode of researching topics. I know other podcasts. I know Weapon Wheel. I know BG. He sends out requests if anybody wants to talk about a topic, and then I guess they come to a consensus, or I don't know if he chooses on his own to do the topic after there have been multiple topics out there. I know he does gaming news on Brooklyn Skill Tree. So, and then I'm like, I know Sim Standard podcast, they do the same thing. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to research. I'm going to research what possible topics to talk about, and then I will make it known through the week what the topics are going to be, and I'm just going to throw it out there for everyone to see. And then when it comes time to broadcast, if anybody's checked out those topics, looked it up, and they want to talk about it, they just come on and we just talk about it. I'm like, it is going to be organized. I am going to moderate, and we'll just take it from there. I think that would be the best way to handle it. And that's about it. So I'm just hang out for a little while longer. Let's see. Yeah, we know you talk. We know. We know this. That is true. You do talk. That is not a problem with you at all. You have no problem saying anything to anyone at any time about anything, and in any way. That is true. All right, so like, matter of fact, let me ask you this: have you played any of the games come out, or had a chance to at least look at them? I know right now I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm waiting for Ghost Recon to come out tomorrow. I know some people got it digitally, but I've been getting the physical copies as of late. So I'm waiting for that to come in the mail tomorrow. I've been playing For Honor. I haven't really played much Sniper Elite. Trying to figure out some other games I've been playing. I didn't get the Nintendo Switch. I wasn't planning on getting the Nintendo Switch. I think that console, mobile, whatever, that hybrid system, that's something that, to me, it's like Wii U 2.0. It just seems that way, even though it has some distinct differences between the Wii U and the Switch. But after watching a lot of, oh yeah, and I do have Watch Dogs too. I have a whole bunch of games. I spent a lot of money on games this past year, and this year too. I tell you one thing that seems like is really good is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. That looks interesting. I don't know if I'd be the one that's reading subtitles all the time because the character still doesn't talk. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, I remember playing the Zeldas I've played were the original NES, the Zelda, and then Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, which I beat, by the way. I beat those two. Also beat Link to the Past. And then I think I'm trying to figure out the last Zelda game I really played. I think it was on GameCube. Yep, it was on GameCube. And I played a lot of that, but I didn't beat it. And I think that was it for me as far as Zelda was concerned. I think after that, I grew disinterested in Nintendo because they weren't really trying to keep up with the powerful consoles that were there at the time. And I just grew attached on to PlayStation. I eventually switched over to Xbox at one point. Pretty much, I think in every generation, I had multiple consoles. I think this generation with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is the first time I've gone with a single console. And I actually released a video some time ago explaining why I went with one console. It's all about that money. Yeah, okay. I did talk about it on the Sim Hangouts, but this offers me a little bit more freedom to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. Obviously, I haven't beat the game yet because it's pretty long. But I do like the music. The graphics are good. I have the base PS4 versus, and if you have it on PS4 Pro, yes, the graphics would blow you away with the 4K view. Like I said, I have the base PS4, so I'm 1080p, whatever. I don't know if it's 30. I don't know if the game is locked at 30. I don't think it's locked at 30. I think in some cases it goes above 30, but I think it's locked at 30. I think. I'm just going by visual here. Not Digital Foundry or stuff like that, but just going by eye checking. But Horizon Zero Dawn, it's been very, like, the controls are very fluid. I like the fact that you have to use, you don't have to use strategy per se, but there's strategic elements in the game where you have to figure out each machine's weakness and try to figure out how to beat it with what you have. I think there was one slick instance I came across. There's this animal that you come across eventually. Like you'll run into it eventually, and then you'll run into it later in the game. But in this case, in this situation where I ran into 2 of them. I think they call a sawtooth. The slick thing I did, because you can choose to fight both of them, or you can do what I did and turn one against the other. Because when I did that, that fight was a lot easier. Was easier to manage, because I actually had 2 attempts at this fight. The first one I died because and it's funny because I could have beaten them both without turning one against the other. I made a wrong move, got swiped, 1-hit kill. With one of them remaining, I had killed the other one. So I had to start all over, and I had to rethink. I was like, all right, I don't want to go through that fight and go through the troubles of that fight again. Okay, let me turn one against the other. I did that. That one made short work of the other one, and then after a while, the other one came too, and I made short work of that one. So that's an example of how you can address a situation where you're dealing with enemies that are way more, I would say not way more powerful, because you do have weapons and they do have weak spots, but you're a human. They are machines, and some of them bigger than you. Well, a bunch of them bigger than you. I've already killed one of the birds, and I ran to that one that was in the E3 demonstration. Haven't fought it yet because I'm not ready to fight it. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not ready to fight. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's pretty big. Yeah, 4K does look dope. I've seen it while I've seen like 4K when I'm looking at the TVs and at Best Buy or whatever. But my personal experience, I have no personal experience with 4K. Check that. I actually do, but it's on my phone. In fact, I can actually view 4K videos on my Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. This is quite awesome. I can view things in higher resolution than the Switch, than the PS4 base, Xbox One, and some people who are playing on PC right now. That's freaking awesome. All right, let's see what else you've been saying. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. What's gonna pull me in for that one is the story. I already know the graphics are gonna be tight, because the graphics in the first one was tight. So I'm sold on the graphics as far as Red Dead Redemption, because it's a Rockstar game. Their graphics are pretty good, but it's going to be the story. Like, I was hooked on the story of Grand Theft Auto 5. Well, I'm hooked on a lot of the stories for Grand Theft Auto. I was definitely hooked on Red Dead Redemption. So Red Dead Redemption 2, all they had to do is have a good story. They have a good story. They'll get me. They'll get my money. Only if they have a good story. Looks like this. Honestly, they showed this game. I don't know what the name of this one game is, but they actually showcase one of these games that looks like it does focus on the zombie apocalypse, but it's not a Walking Dead game. Another game I'm actually waiting for, since I do have a gaming PC, is damn, what was it? God damn it, I can't even remember the name of the game. And when I want to name that game, it was on the original. It was on 360, and I actually have it on my PC. I forgot what it's called, but that game State of Decay. That game, that was the name of the game. State of Decay was pretty dope to me, and I think the next one, when it comes out, it's supposed to have multiplayer, but as long as they have that sim mode that they have in it, that survival mode, I'm straight. All I need is that survival mode in that next one, and we'll see what they can do. Oh, there's a spectacular poop, Chris. You came in at a good time, because earlier I was trashing all the Philly teams. Not really, I was just trashing the teams. But yeah, I'm on here actually I've actually been on here for an hour and some change. Actually, just seeing how this works. I think it's pretty good. I think this is something I can do more of. Also practicing for an upcoming appearance. Yeah, devs, I think it's half and half with the devs and how they make these games versus what consumers want. I think half the times consumers don't know what they want, and it's hard to make games for people that don't know what they want their games to be. They want the games to be great, but they can't articulate how they want the game to be to the devs. Yeah, Flyers. I don't know if the Flyers are actually going to be in the playoffs this year. I know they were last year and they nearly scared us in the playoffs. One thing I do know about the Capitals, just to speak on this for, when they play teams in the playoffs, it's definitely a different team in the playoffs than you see in the regular season. So teams like Philly, teams like Boston, all the lower ranked teams, they actually have a shot. Because for some reason the Capitals just get extremely tight in the playoffs. Like, they're not relaxed as other teams are. Like, Philly could go in the playoffs and be very relaxed and just play their game. Maybe because they feel like they have nothing to lose. I think if the Caps would play in the playoffs like they have nothing to lose, they'd be better off. The Sixers, they had something. And because I subscribed to his channel, iPod King Carter. I started to watch one of his videos where he was responding to Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith was going in on the Sixers, talking about them the past seasons they tanked and whatnot. What I was hearing, I could not believe I was hearing it from iPod King Carter. I understand that he's a fan of the 76ers. I understand that, that city has gone through a lot, the basketball. But iPod King Carter it sounded like he was doing some damage controlling. Sound like doing a little bit of damage control there. It sounded like it. I'm not saying it was, but it sounded like it was damage control. I understand injuries happen, but you mean to tell me because last I remember, Joel Embiid, they drafted this fool with the injury. They're already there. Is that not tanking? I mean, from what I remember, he didn't get hurt when he played with the Sixers. He was already hurt. You drafted him anyway. So that's why I kind of felt when I was listening to the video that he was in damage control. He was in the market of damage control. So I know a lot of Philly fans, they want to see a winner in Philly from one of their teams. They don't even care if it's soccer. They just want to see, they want to see somebody succeed. And to tell you the truth, I like it better when there's competition. I like it when there's competition in sports, especially in cities where there's a lot of pride. And Philly is one of those places. Ton of pride in that town. Just a ton of pride. All sports is rigged. I think, well, right now mainly basketball and football. Like, my whole theory about the New England Patriots winning all those Super Bowls has everything to do with yes, I said it. Because they didn't start really winning. Their first Super Bowl was what, the following that season. So it kind of fits the narrative that your football team, your greatest football team of all time, after it's all said and done, it's the New England Patriots. A coincidence? Not really, but As far as basketball, I just don't like the way they have the rules set up. Well, actually, it's funny because in basketball and football, they have the rules set up for the offense to be successful, and I hate that. I really do hate that. I hate the fact that the offense has the advantage. I'm a wide receiver. I like offense, but it shouldn't be this bad. I'm like, in football, you can't like rough up receivers as they run their routes. So, like, what the hell is that? Like, I grew up in that era where receivers were being roughed up. I'm like, tell you the truth, as a receiver, that was like one of my big weaknesses, is that I like somebody would chuck me at the line. I had this one cat I would play with on Saturdays. He knew exactly what to do against me. He would chuck me on the line because I had a hard time getting off the line. I'm like, a lot of corners that played in front of me, they would give me about 5, maybe 3 yards of space and try to play off of me. But this guy was right up in my face. So it made me work a little bit harder to do, but at the same time, he would accomplish his job. You know, just throw off my time, and that was his whole goal. But I don't like how everything's slanted for the offense, and it's the same way in basketball. I don't like how it's really not taking much skill to accomplish some things because players aren't adjusting to physical play. So the NBA takes out the physical play, or most of the physical play, especially on defense. I'll talk more about Sixers and Flyers when I get back. Oh, getting food. I'll probably have this thing shut down before you get back. I don't know how. I've already been on here for an hour. I didn't intend to be on long, but I figured I'd get this thing a test whirl. And so far, you know, I had put them in the game, had you in here. Try to get some others to participate in this test. Or you know what? I'll probably shut it down in the next 12 minutes. That's probably what I'll do. Run until 12:30. I think that's fair. You know, because I was going to shut it down at midnight. Originally, you know, it's funny. This thing went from to do 30 minutes, and then conversation would put them, and still an hour. And then, you know, you come in, Chris, and that's all of a sudden extended to 12:30. But I'm definitely not going to go past 12:30 because I want to get to these games. I've taken a 3-day break from Horizon Zero Dawn. I want to get back on that. Had a good rhythm going there, and also want to prepare for Ghost Recon because I already played the closed beta and the open beta, just like I played the closed beta and the open beta of For Honor. And then the other game that's coming out is Mass Effect Andromeda. It's just too many games to be playing right now to honestly be worried about sports games that came out in the fall. Like Madden and 2K, I can't be stressing these games. I can't be stressing those two games when knowing damn well I play a lot of games. You got MLB The Show that's coming out that pretty much is the gold standard when it comes to graphics, gameplay, and oh man, I am happy to finally know that when I'm batting, and I didn't understand this, but they did a gameplay live stream. San Diego Studios, Ramon Russell, they did a live stream, and they explained that the way we were batting, circular object versus a flat square targeting system or bar or whatever. So you weren't getting the type of hits that you should see when a baseball comes in contact with a bat and different spins and angles that result from it. So now the batting, it's a round ball to a round object instead of a round ball to a flat object. It's almost like we were playing cricket leading up to this year, which at the same time, I'm mad that they just now did it. But now that they have it, that's great to hear. So we're going to see when I play this thing, when it comes out later this month, I think it comes out just after my birthday, I'm gonna enjoy pretty much seeing what type of hits that I get and how they react. I like how it looks like the players are going to show more urgency. I like the fact that they match the arm speed with the actual urgency of how the ball gets there. The throwing speed and everything is going to match the throwing animation, basically. Yeah, that is true too, and that actually leads to another thing. The fact that esports has taken over a little bit. It's taken over with Madden. Well, it's the tournament scene has always been there for Madden, but esports with Madden actually, I'm not afraid to say this, but I think that game got downgraded, it got like nerfed through tuners through the tournament season. When at launch, that game was vicious. And then all of a sudden, after the Super Bowl, all of a sudden the game is vicious again. I felt like we got gypped. But with 2K, with all the issues, I sat there like I don't openly. Well, there have been a couple of occasions I openly complain about 2K, but I've sat back and watched a whole bunch of people complain about the online. Always been complaining about online for 2K. Sat back and watched people complain about the gameplay. I try using Bill's sliders, and his sliders are pretty awesome. He does a good job with taking the time to go fix the tendencies, because a lot of things that he's seeing in this game, he's able to try to fix by fixing tendencies, fixing the character traits and stuff like that, and then doing the sliders thereafter. One thing I will say that Live has over 2K is the freedom of the players. The players move more naturally in Live than they do in 2K basketball. Being brutally honest. And they're about to do esports. I don't know how that game's going to survive. Because I'm telling you right now, that game's going to be heavily scrutinized. Because now you're talking the 20 million patches that came out for that game already. Prepare for more. There's going to be a ton of more patches that are going to come out for that game. And I don't know how the game's going to survive. I really don't. I'm like, I know Scott OG. I've interacted with him quite a few times. I've never really interacted with Czar, but I'm like, those are good dudes. Mike Wang. The three of them, just by naming them, have done a pretty good job with 2K. But the players need to move more naturally. One of my issues with 2K was that I would never. I don't know if it was. I know Live did this, but like you pass the ball to somebody in a catch and shoot situation, they would set up before they're catching like they're going to catch and shoot. In 2K, it felt like they're not ready to catch and shoot. So, because I've uninstalled 2K off my hard drive a bunch of times, so I may reinstall it and just play and just see, because I may get that itch to play it, but I doubt it, because MLB, the show is going to take over Mass Effect. And that also leads me to another thing, because I'm still with my original hard drive at 500 gigabytes. I'm waiting for this update to come out for PlayStation where they're going to allow external hard drive use, because I have another 500 or terabyte hard drive that I could use to store these games. That way I'm not constantly uninstalling, reinstalling, and doing all that. All right, so we got. Yeah, Pooh's not gonna make it back in time. I'm about 5 minutes away, 4 minutes according to my computer's. So online games killed. Online killed games. Back. The reason for why I don't give a fuck about the 76 is because I knew since day one that the process was bullshit. I think you meant was, but either way, it's a current thing. So yeah, it is bullshit. It's real. I knew that since day one. Need that hard drive option too. Yeah. I kind of tweeted out when what's the name got hurt. I was like, process is over. I don't know how. I don't know why they. With the 76ers, this seemed like that team was going to be nice this year, and they actually started out pretty good. But that early entry, it seemed like what's up with the draft picks just getting hurt? Like they're not like what's going on? Because remember they drafted Joel Embiid when he was hurt before they drafted him. He was hurt. He was out. He had a serious injury. I don't know if he got hurt during the workouts or whatever, but he was already hurt and they drafted him anyway. If that isn't tanking a season, and then you get rid of your young players, you draft a whole bunch of young players because you know you're gonna have the first number 1, number 2 pick or whatever, and then you start trading them away. MC Dub traded away. I can't really list all because I don't really follow the Sixers like that, but you know, from an outsider's perspective, that team looked good with what they were about to have. And yes, injuries is going to wind up sidetracking the team. Matter of fact, they beat the Wizards just a few nights ago or something like that. I don't know if it was before the All-Star break or a little bit after, but they did beat the Wizards. So I don't know why this thing doesn't stay open. True, everybody's expendable. Since they traded Noel, he started the process. Yep, which is why the only team I truly care about is the Eagles. They are still the only team in Philly that people truly care about. All right, Pudd'em, I see. Yeah, it was getting late, so I can see you leaving. So, all right, I'll let you. Well, I'll put out a tweet. I'll let you know what's going on. Like I said, I'm probably not looking to. I'll probably do a couple more tests to see how it goes, but I'm probably not gonna get a lot accomplished until after I'm done with school. These last 2 classes, I'm gonna really have to bear down. Not because I'm a fuck up, because I got 2 A's in the last class I got, and I've been on a roll with that. I just want to finish strong, get this degree, and get it over with. Don't want anything standing in its way. All right, so peace, Pudd'em. I'll probably be going after the PS4 due to the exclusives that they have. God of War, other stuff, Final Fantasy Remake 2. See, I played 1 iteration of Final Fantasy, and that was Final Fantasy 7. That's how I knew that hardcore RPG stuff was not for me. I can do action RPGs, but not the hardcore stuff, because I didn't like the fact that there was a chance. I had no direct control over my players. I like direct control, like the Division, action RPG. Ghost Recon. I'm gonna say it's an action RPG. That's third-person shooter. I don't know. I don't know any other actions right off the bat. All right, peace, Pudd'em. I see you. So this has actually been going good. I'll probably go for a little while longer. I think this will actually be a preferred format if I want to talk stuff out. let's see, like tail. Yeah, I noticed, but I'm not gonna front. I'm not interested in Final Fantasy like that. It's just like I appreciate the game for what it is, but I also know that I don't play. I don't like the Division. That's my game. Even when I was originally playing Destiny, that was my game until I stopped playing it. And I stopped playing that. I did beat that game with the help of a kid. Excuse me, but at least I beat that game. And I'm probably not gonna pick up the second one. I'm probably just gonna leave the second one alone. So I'm just looking at some more things now. See if there's anybody really got any interesting videos that I can look at. Like I said, it's 12:30. People right now are probably sitting here playing Ghost Recon right now. You know, okay. Just to go back on Destiny, you know what was fucked up about their DLCs and then as far as the Taken King and all this other stuff, they put a lot of stuff that was originally in Destiny behind that DLC paywall. Like no bullshit. Like half the stuff that you originally had in the game by itself, you couldn't access, or you couldn't really you couldn't really access after they put out the DLCs. And I was just like, they just basically turned my $60 investment into a worthless, into half the game that I paid for. And that was bullshit. And then even on top of that, even the game I did pay for, like before the DLCs, you know, it was discovered that like people were able to get to the DLC content that was sitting right there in the game. So companies trying to screw people over big time. Let's see. Let's see. Did I get God of War? I played God of War, but I didn't get it. I'm like, that was a series, as good as that series was, and I like playing it, but I don't really see myself investing time into it. Like I definitely like the fact that I do play a wide range of games, but also know which games I'm probably not going to play. Like I may give them a try, but I know I'm probably not going to play God of War all too much. Okay. What is it? 12:35. All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I think for this test, it's actually been pretty good. I actually like what this is offering, and it's funny that I didn't do this sooner because I did suggest this to the guys over at the Sim Standard when they was doing the radio show on the Blog Talk. I know they were thinking about it beforehand, but I really pushed their hand in switching over to Google. One, it was free, and two, you know, you could bring on panels. You know, just looking at other podcasts like that had been viewing before, like the Weapon Wheel podcast and others that have panelists instead of callers. So that is true, and it also replaces having to record conversations on Skype and then uploading them onto YouTube. So you can have it on live. Because basically what happened is that YouTube, what's it? Google Hangouts is YouTube Live. So it's like when they made that conversion, it was like the final thing that had to be merged together between Google and YouTube when the two companies merged. So But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I do appreciate Pooh. I do appreciate you coming on. You put them in the game. I know that it seemed like there were more people watching, but I don't see them in the chats. Only 2 people talking, you and put them. So I do appreciate y'all stopping by. And like, you guys see me on Twitter, GA81. I'll probably do a couple more tests. If you guys have any ideas about topics, just throwing them out there. Let me know. I'll do another test, and we'll see what happens from there. And what I'll do is that if I come up with enough topics, oh yeah, we'll definitely do this again. If I do come up with the topics, I'll probably put out a tweet letting everybody know what topics I'm going to talk about before, like maybe a few days before getting on, and then I'll get on, and then we'll just go from there. And my goal is to at least do an hour, at least. If I'm going to be one person with maybe panelists coming on, and that's why I gotta be able to coordinate when I send out links, because you can start it up before you broadcast it, and I can send out links and make sure everybody's in before I broadcast it. Because when it goes live, it's live. Everybody gets a turn. Everybody gets to talk, and it's gonna be organized. I'm gonna try to keep it organized from the start. I'm probably come up with questions. I think everybody deserves a proper intro. I do understand that, because some people that could be watching, they may not know who some of us are. I'm like, myself included. I'm not a big channel. Like, only people in the sim football community really know who I am. Even then, they're new people, and some old people that probably forgot about. So let's look at it like that. And I think the days that I'm looking at, trying to see, not necessarily Friday night, because I already know who live streams around that time. I actually watched that live stream with Apples and Oranges, so it's not, my live streams are not going to be in competition with anybody. I just felt like if I do my own thing with my group of people that want to watch, that's the way it's going to be. Okay, how do I feel about the combine? I don't really pay attention to the combine a whole lot. I know as a football fan, I should be, but I don't. I'm more concerned with what they do on the field versus like what they did in college and what they wound up doing on the field in the pros after the training camp and stuff like that. As far as I just don't invest time in watching the combine. They do, but like I said, I don't really pay attention to it. So I'm like, it is what it is. I know that one dude ran a 4.240. Now that is impressive, but it ain't gonna make a bit of beans if you can't get off the line or catch the football or run a proper route. I've seen fast receivers in the day, most of them on the Raiders, they couldn't catch worth a lick. They couldn't run a route worth a damn. So 4.2 speed won't mean shit if you can't catch or run a proper route or lack any awareness whatsoever. And honestly, as a receiver, yeah, it was John Ross. Actually, he was working with Deshaun Jackson's trainer, I think. If I was reading that right on Instagram, I do follow Deshaun Jackson on Instagram. I think he was saying about he had his trainer work with him. So and the thing was, I think that is the case. A lot of fast guys because see, a lot of fast guys will be able to succeed in the NFL now because you can't really press and rough up receivers. So a lot of receivers are getting those free releases, and that's because of these rule changes that after 5 yards you can't really do nothing with them. Like after that 5 yard initial whatever, you can't do nothing with them. And then receivers are already about 3 to 5 yards. So when they backpedal just one step, they're already at that 5 yard. You can't do nothing. But overall, the combine, I haven't. I've caught like clips, but I haven't sat there. You got people that really, you got hardcore fans that sit there and really, what they do. They really sit there and they watch the combine on NFL Network. I can't do that. I can't really sit on all the news that keeps popping up, especially our local media. I'll probably save my thoughts about our local media for another test podcast. Or I may say something on the Sim Standard Hangout. It just depends on what the topics are going to be. If the topics are going to stray away from it, I'm not gonna force feed it. I'll just do it on my own. But we'll see. But like I said, thanks. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. They probably feeding them grits. I really don't know. I know people probably get mad because I'm disregarding the combine, but I just don't watch the combine like that. But yeah, I know grits and gravy. But yeah, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I know I said it a while ago. I actually gone over a little bit. But yeah, thanks for coming by, Pooh. I'll definitely let everybody know what's up. So let me see how to do this outro. I'm not gonna have a catchy outro. I'll just say it like this. We're probably gonna do this again. I don't know when. I will announce it later on. And shout out to Pooh and put them in the game that were active in the chats. Much appreciated. And I'm gonna try this again at some point in time. Try to actually get another person on here, like another person like in the call. That would actually work. That would actually be something worth watching. So let's just do it that way. Again, this is DJ81. A different format, just out of nowhere, like an RKO on that channel, Skins for Life. Peace.